To the January 2024 North River County Board of Supervisors work session. All rise for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone who is on the roll call is present, except for our engineer, Ms. Carol Schuler, who is able to make it at the comments. Announcements. Township meetings are recorded for purposes of 10 minutes, and the recording is restored after the minutes are approved. The meeting will be posted online on the Township YouTube channel. The link can be found on the Board of Supervisors page on the Township website. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes each, unless such time is extended by the chair for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors will provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed or prior to the adjournment of the public meeting. And I want to announce that we had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss litigation. And we also have a plan to have another executive session right after this meeting to discuss real estate. This is a regular meeting, but I have heard that people are having trouble hearing people speak in some of our other meetings. These microphones are really good, but you have to get close to them if you don't get close to them. Nobody can hear you. So just for future reference, for anybody using these microphones in any capacity in our room, we need to do again. And you're going to keep the microphone, you get within about 2 inches of the microphone. All right, first thing on the agenda is preliminary final plan approval resolution for no plan.
Yes. So we have before you a proposed resolution granting preliminary final approval to Melbourne Hill. As you know, this development has been around for close to 2 decades. Last year, the township and the developer entered into a settlement agreement. Under this settlement agreement, the developer was to submit engineered plans based on a settlement plan that was attached to the agreement. The developer has done that. They provided those to Carol Schuler this past fall. Carol has undertaken a review of those plans and issued a letter. The letter is relatively clean at this point in time, as well as the letter from Robert Preston, the township sewer engineer. As set forth in the settlement agreement, once we've reached this stage, we have agreed to put the plan on the next board agenda for review and approval. So that's why we're here. I can answer any general questions about this if you have any, but generally speaking, like I said, the plan hasn't been engineered. It provides all of the items that are required under the settlement agreement. It is generally consistent with the requirements of the settlement agreement, except where pointed out by Carol's review letter. The applicant is willing to complete the items listed in the review letter. The applicant has seen the approval resolution and is fine with it. So I'm just looking for a motion at this point in time.
I see the representative of the applicant here with anything to add. Please state your name.
Sure, I'm Greg. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. This time we don't have anything to add. We just thank the township for the cooperative process that we've had recently, going through the engineering reviews as well as our responses. Nothing else to add with respect to the plan itself. Peter's characterization of the plan as well as its compliance.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
The only thing I have, and this is just an observation, the plans that we have in front of us, 47-page plan, the latest project serial number for design dated September 28th, and everything talks about a September 29th plan. It's the same document, correct?
Yes, yeah, there's not a separate plan, there's a date, yeah.
This is Jeff Gallagher.
I don't know, like, what the best way to do it is, but in some ways, for the public, we do have an engineer's review letter that was considered part of the resolution. Precedent. Their review letter is part of the decision, part of this resolution. There are an awful lot of field complies, there are an awful lot of things that the applicant still has to do. We fulfill everything that's in this resolution, so it's not like tomorrow we're gonna see, if we can go out there and start tearing up the ground. Is that right, Peter?
Correct, yes.
And I know this has come up before, and it's not really on the township to make this happen, something that anyone could do. Tell us what your plans or what your intentions are about the easement. The AT&T line that goes to the property.
Actually, this property is not subject to that easement. There is an extinguishment for this property. It does not exist on this property as a matter of record. So there are no plans because there are no rights that go across this property.
So if perchance those plans are correct, we will get something. You can rest assured we will need to do this again.
To our knowledge, there's nothing on this property with respect to the AT&Ts. That easement actually comes up the little road and makes a right or a left and it's parallel. It doesn't extend it into the property.
Okay, I hope you're right.
Thank you.
Did you mention that you had an extinguished?
Yeah, there was an issue in title where they had recorded against the property, but in the description that was attached to the easement, it actually didn't include the property. So somehow it had been recorded against the property in the past. In order to clarify and clean up title, they agreed to have an extinguishment document executed. So that was one of our concerns. I was spoken to Peter about it, provided them with the documentation. We actually had another call about it just the other day, just to make sure we were on the same page. And we checked everything on again one more time since it was raised in the past and confirmed again, just not there.
So if they do find something in the ground, it's on you to solve that problem.
That's correct. It's not the township issue.
Anything else on the board? Any comments from the public? Go ahead, Lauren.
Warren Jacobs, Fulmer Road. Normally, when Carol's here, she reads review letters. Is somebody going to read that to us? How about if I ask that as a public information?
Yes,
There's a lot in it, and you want to just hit some highlights.
I mean, I can hit, hold on, give me 2 seconds. If you want me to hit some of the comments, some of the highlights,
Just some of the highlights, I don't think we have
Yeah.
bring up everything. Or we just stand stuff.
I do have it available.
Okay. There's a swale that must be extended. You need to correct some of the legal descriptions. They need to take care of traffic calming measures where the walking path crosses the proposed road. There's some inlets that they need to add. They need to kind of provide a little more detail on the tot lot and plate structure. I mean, that's really it. There's really not much to it. There's a lot of the standard little engineering technical details that need to be done. There's not any significant plan changes that need to be done. It's just, that's why we're ready to, like we've put it on the agenda for tonight because it's ready for this review.
Again, the standard stuff, they still have to get their approvals from the conservation district.
I'm wondering about that.
The DEP, sewage facilities planning and well permits, and PDES permits, and also, indicate that they're gonna be served by SBA for their water needs. These are pretty standard things, anything development.
And, one of the other things they do, Carol does mention, is the sanitary sewer is actually coming across Manning's property. Carol asked that a easement be shown, that there is an easement in place for this, and Mr. Edelman has already provided that to me. So that would have been one of the bigger comments, and it's already been met at this point in time.
Phil Smith, 205 Burlock Road. I think it would be prudent for the Board of Supervisors to request that the final plan reflect the fact that the easement is in fact extinguished, and reference the fact that it had previously appeared as a recorded document that suggested it might be on the property. I think that would be something that would give our board and the future boards comfort if something did come up. Thank you.
Anything else in the public? Is there anything on Zoom?
Doesn't look like it.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hi, Diane from Cedarville Road. The public has been interested in the timeline. So now it's 7 years from whenever, I guess the next, when you actually, it's supposed to be red or green?
Green.
It's red. Okay, how about now? Okay, Diane, Cedarville Road, Diane Jordan, Cedarville Road. The public's been interested in the timeline, so do they now have 7 years when you actually do pass the resolution? That's one question. And then also, they have a stockpiling agreement for 5 years. How does that complicate the finishing of the project? And do the builders have any kind of projected date when you want to get a shovel in the ground? Public would love to know. So those are my questions. Oh, and one more. When was the engineer's last review done?
Her letter is dated January 16th.
So
Last week.
last week, so the plan was received September 28th, and she reviewed it just last week. So this kind of does delay the timeline that I think most people in our township sooner or later. It sounds like, I don't know, I may not know what I'm talking about. But if it had been reviewed sooner and you had voted on it sooner, then that, I think, would have put the time on it.
No, she did not sit on the plan. It wasn't like it was something that wasn't done. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussion on other items, a lot of cleaning up of some items by the developer. So it was a very active process over the last, excuse me, 3 or 4 months. That just, this letter is just a final step in that
This
process.
is the final, so
Yes.
when the September 28th plan came in, it was initially reviewed within 45 days of that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just to fill you in, I believe Carol's efforts in terms of reviewing the plan, mentioned numerous meetings. She gave a report to the board that she was in the process of reviewing the plan and working with that.
Right, so, yes. Very good, just wanted those dates, and that's all. Thanks, Chuck. Just need clarity and transparency, that's all.
So I'm assuming you don't have any of the ones that they show.
Yeah, well, and we don't, because we do have to finish up some of the outside agency permits and approvals and consideration sewage. So we really can't estimate that at this time. Obviously, once all the permits are in place, I'm sure it'll move fairly expeditiously.
Thank you. Right. Anyone like to make a motion, so it would be, oh, we're already on 04?
Yes.
Okay. The resolution number 2024 R-04, resolution of the Board of Supervisors of North Frederick Township granting preliminary final plan approval to Polycom Trust Company, custodian, FBO, Clayton Heckler, Custodian Registrations, IRA.
Individual retirement account, I believe. Am I right?
Okay. And John Heckler, IRA, concerning the revised preliminary /final plan of Melbourne Hill, prepared by Woodrow and Associates, Inc., dated April 10, 2020, last revised September 29, 2023, consisting of 43 sheets, which proposes to create 43 new residential lots and 1 units. Have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Alright, so we have a motion by Supervisor Sachs and a second by Supervisor Geiser. We have an extension by Supervisor Holder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 4 votes, and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item on the agenda is the
I'll mail it
2024
to you.
oil and ship
So we mail that next couple days.
road project discussion. And Carol normally would present this, we have a presentation sheet prepared, so I'm going to just want to go through it. If you have any highly technical questions, you may have to say them.
Okay, so as the board may recall from the budget cycle, we budgeted $200,000 in our liquid fuels fund for 2024 for double chip seal application, or oil and chip as it's sometimes called. This would be the list that was created between Carol and Tommy, our roadmaster. So we would be looking to oil and chip Second Avenue, Third Avenue, Audrey Lane, Cemetery Lane, Fulmer Road, Riverside Avenue, Mang Road, Old Gravel Pike, Rose Lane, and Schwank Road. As Carol states in her memo, the township was attempting to seal 5 years to extend the life of our road paving, which is why Fulmer and Riverside are on the list even after being paved last year. We're hoping to reinstitute that philosophy. Most importantly, we would be looking for approval to bid, hopefully by at least the February 6th meeting, to allow us to get the bid out and hopefully awarded prior to the end of March, beginning of April. As the board may or may not be aware, as you get further into the year, the bids tend to come back larger if you receive bids. So what was created by Carol, and I can't really, I don't know how well I can speak to it. She created a presentation showing the data as far as what she's calling the pavement condition index. When showing when you initially pave a road, and then if you include mill and overlay, as far as how much more life you get out of the pavement. Once again, Carol prepared this, so I can't really speak to this as far as the data. So I can just share the visual part of it. I will say it is common knowledge, because over the time that I've been doing this, where chip sealing usually allows us to get more miles of road as opposed to overlays, especially for your less traveled or not as highly traveled roads. How effective this is in maintaining your overall roadways. And now, of course, it's not letting me move forward. There we go. This is relatively self-explanatory, I think. And once again, as we're seeing throughout this winter, since we're having snow, where the potholes have popped out. By the way, I will say the guys did get out and cold patch what they could. So if you've noticed, I realize that, we're hopeful it'll last a little bit. But where there's potholing, we recognize, those are situations where oil and chip is not, you can't use that. You can only use it on a good surface, which is why we look to get the recently overlaid roads chipped. And then as far as those roads that have significant potholing, you're much like we did with Fulmer and Riverside this year, you're milling those locations and then paving accordingly.
Jason, I think on that same board, scroll up,
Yes.
there's a table there of the roads and when they were last paved.
Oh.
In that same document, document Dropbox.
Okay, I gotcha. This one, okay. I didn't end up having it on the one I had ready to go, so that's why I mentioned a memo and.
Yeah, make that bigger. So a lot of the roads were somewhat recently paved, with the exception of Cemetery Lane, which was done in 2014. Main Road, which was done in 2012. Both of those roads were sealed in 2016. The others were all fairly recent, 2020.
And Mang and Zimmer, they've held up very well, which is why we've got them on the list. Now, as we hope every year, we're gonna see how far our budget number gets us. So we're hoping up to 5. Sometimes you can get more than 5 miles. Sometimes we just gotta see. It's definitely year to year when it comes to pricing and stuff. So, but I think we just wanted to kind of get this back out there, since this is, I guess, once again, this was a program that the township kind of paused on for the last couple of years.
Are you looking for a decision tonight?
No.
Okay, so if we have some more questions for Carol, you can ask her.
Yeah, this was purely educational for tonight. Once again, we're ahead of the game. So this was, yeah, I took the opportunity with a lighter agenda to get this in front of you guys.
I remember this program from a few years back, and it's very effective. It's a lot cheaper, chip and seal than the pack, not chip and seal, and you actually going to pay for it. I think it's a point of those things.
And actually, this is something we can post to for.
It looks like you're adding, so how many years are we adding by doing chip and seal? Can you go to, looks like about 12 years, 12. So no chip and seal, we have to pay that about 13. With the chip and seal, we go to about 26, maybe. Are you doing that correctly?
That seems right. Like I said, I'm kind of. That's standard. I'm assuming she pulled several data points to come up with the graph. I just know, as you see with a lot of PennDOT roads, when they overlay, it always seems like they just, when they repave them, it seems like they just paved them. So you obviously get more regular. You need more regular repair on those type of roads where you're just doing the overlay, but we do recognize that there are roads that we can't just oil and chip that need that overlay first, because many times you can just oil and chip over a road that's been oil and chipped, but
The only thing I would add is that having lived right off the River Road, which is a road that was paved 20 or so years ago, and there was anything done to it, it needed to be redone. It just got done late summer or fall, but it was several years where it's been a disaster. It was a patch, and then they did it for it. So numbers are up in different fall. Are consistent with what I observed on your and around what it was we did a couple of years ago.
So if there's no other questions on this?
all right. So
Okay, so we will then look to approve this at our next meeting.
Yep.
All right, that brings us to the Smith property easement.
Yes, we've received, which is in your packet, a letter from the Smiths asking to move forward. I think we're at the point where we're ready to put pen to paper. and actually start preparing an actual trail easement in regards to this offer. As part of their offer to Smiths, are asking the township to incur the cost of preparing the actual easement and recording the easement. So I asked to put this on the agenda, just seeking authorization from the board to move forward with working with Mr. Smith to start negotiating with them and actually preparing the easement.
Do you have an idea of what this might cost? Should we provide with some kind of a ballpark number?
If you want a not to exceed figure, I would say, to be conservative, $1,000. But yeah, hopefully that's a conservative estimate.
So, the Smiths has, I think, there's like 5 items here. Basically, they're generously giving the township moving.
Correct.
They're not expecting the township to construct a trail to find it's finalized. But they wish to have the township to do so in a trail connection to be made to modify the stuff that we know. And it's still in Rick Township. So the trail will be done some point in the future when those two connections are viable on either hand.
Yes.
And we indicate here that the 50-foot wide trail easement. And
The easement is 50 feet wide. The actual trail obviously will not. It'll meander through that easement.
and the township should doesn't indicate all the survey work has been done, so the township does not have to incur any expenses for creating a survey plan for the easement zone.
Correct.
And so often a couple of expenses of that portion of the project.
Correct.
The hope is to have the easement donation finalized and reported in springtime of this year. Is that a reasonable target?
Absolutely, yes. So long as we get along. So.
I just want to clarify that we're required to incur the cost of the trail at some undetermined point in the future, so it could be a year, it could be 10 years. But at that point, we should certainly any other
Right.
kind of funding.
In my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, we're not looking for a 6-foot wide macadam trail, correct? So, this is more of a hiking trail than a bike path. So the actual construction of the trail, I don't see as being a major expense or major commitment of labor.
So could it possibly be something we could even have on close now from the guidance? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the way some of the trails in the green.
So my letter to the board says that we're with the expectation that it would be made consistent. And I think that was one of the issues that was the concern of the board, was that, we don't want a whole hodgepodge of differentiated requirements and trails, and so we're more consistency. So we're aligning our requests to that of our existing Stonehill Greenway. And to speak to putting the trail in, as I explained before, basically the trail's already in. You might want to define it with a little gravel or something like that, but I've maintained it, so it had the previous owner, so there's a passageway. So what we're offering in terms of the survey is we will define the corridor, or the 50-foot wide easement area, and you'll have the liberty to place the trail. I assume it'll stay where it is, but if you want to meander it, that's on your side of the court. But we're providing you with the meets and bounds on a survey plan that will indicate where that easement will be located. Does that help you?
Yes. So we need to vote for it, we need to have consensus. We need to have a vote.
No,
Give you
yeah.
the authority.
No, if you give me consensus, I just, this is not something obviously I can go off and do on my own. So I just want authorization, that can be just a consensus, and that's fine.
My only question is, the memo here references some agreement, cooperative agreement dated maybe 2000. I've seen the document and it, kind of references design standards, if you will, and aesthetics. So you don't have a copy of it, maybe that can be provided to you, and maybe whatever language you choose reflects similar language to what's in that document.
Yes, I agree with, we want it to be uniform. If we're providing a connection, it doesn't make sense not to be. And likewise, I see no reason to reinvent the wheel. If we have good language somewhere else, I have no problem cutting and pasting that.
Anything else on the board? Is everyone okay with Peter continuing to negotiate?
Fine.
Yes. Okay, all right. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Then, yeah.
I'll reach out to you, Phil.
All right, next item is a police test for approval of music hardware.
Okay, so this is an item that was previously mentioned by Sergeant Cass during our 2024 budget cycle discussions. The police department is being mandated to migrate from paper tickets. They currently use to electronic ticketing. This particular expense was budgeted under line item 410.290 operating equipment for 2024, and these would be installed in the police vehicles. So what you have is the quote from the Eltron Corporation dated 1/16/2024. And I believe if you have any further questions, Sergeant Cass is here to answer them.
So in the quote, the blackboard, it's a license scanner, downloads all the information. Once you still print a copy of the citation that you're issuing. Once it's printed, it's automatically filed at court. So there's no, a lot of times what we're seeing, people are losing their citations, or they're getting notices that their license is being suspended. Nicely with this system, you can also do access sheets there, so there's information for all the parties right away. And then it also ties in with our record management system. So the information that we scan and download into the cloud, that information is in our record management system. It's, as Jason said, it's across the state, they're getting away from the paper to the electronic. It's a little pricey, but we knew it was coming, and they had discussed it during the budget system cycle. So it's mid-March is when the deadline is, when we cannot get any more paper tickets. So hopefully they guys will approve this tonight and get the process, get the equipment ordered, because I know it's a 2 to 3 week turnaround time before we receive it. Once we receive it, we'll start getting, I'll set the appointment up to get everything installed in the car, so there's no lag time.
Is there any additional purchases or any?
There's warranty. The only maintenance is for printer paper, cartridges for the printers itself. One thing with the printers, their headrest, they're mounted in the headrest, but easy disconnects if they have to ride 2 officers in the car. You go quick disconnect, get the printer out, put the headrest back in, so we're not losing the use of having to ride 2 cars, or if we're doing a transport, the same thing. It's only 1 car, 2 officers. If it's a 1 officer car, we put the printer back in.
Any questions from the board?
No, the only thing, I guess the printer, it's like what they say is what, a thermal printer, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, it's only an 8-inch printer.
Yeah.
So it's very, I'm familiar with the system, and the upkeep is minimal.
Good paper.
Yeah, it's almost like a wax paper, it's just not even standard, like the traditional paper that you used to see. It's one printer per car. So if you-
5,000 for all.
for each car, so it's 5 cars, 5 more cars that will be on patrol. So whatever officer is in a car, they will have the access to be able to use it.
It's about $1,000.
Give or take.
It also sounds like it's going to be time saving because they file all documents automatically.
It saves us from driving up to court, if they deliver our citations, that takes away from us being the responsible for having to rely on another agency, if there's priority work. Something major comes in and we're having to rush back in this week away, get back to the township.
It's hardware and equipment. Okay.
Is the board ready to vote?
Yeah, I get the motion.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the motion is to authorize the purchase of e-ticket hardware and equipment at a total cost of $5,109.45 from L. Tron Corporation and further authorize the township manager to sign the quote. I have a motion, I have a second. Absolutely. Thank you.
For
So,
5 units.
yeah,
It looked to me, it's $5,000.
Okay, so Supervisor Sachs made the motion, Supervisor Bolton made the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, that brings us to the end of our business portion, and now we're at public comment.
Hi, Diane Troy, 9 Ziberville Road, but speaking on behalf, check back the light on. It is on, okay. Better?
Yeah.
The EAC discussed at our meeting, and we just wanted to let you know now, because it may come up before other boards. We had heard about the Open Space Commission discussing a proposal to acquire a small lot in downtown Zieglerville that connects to Coven Park. And we want to let the board know that from our environmental perspective, this land with its mature oak trees and the possibility of creating a green corridor seems to be a little part of, just a little puzzle piece, but a very important one in the comprehensive plan to connect the township to the parks and open spaces. So we just want to let you know. Also, thanks to the road crew for filling in the potholes along Zieglerville Road. They're always out there. They will have to get out there again before too long. Thank you.
Thank you. This is good to hear some good news. Any public comment? Yes, anyone to go ahead.
Ernie Schmidt, 209 Silverbrook Drive. I'd like to compliment the Township Board of Supervisors and our road crew. As you all know, Spring Mountain Road is an important road. It gives access to everything in this township, from meetings to churches to our police department, our emergency crews, from the fire company, the ambulance. And it's a great job that the potholes are all fixed along here, because all of us could see that the road is just deteriorating. And I assume it's going to be a project to repair that road in the next couple of years to make it more permanent. But great job. It looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very fortunate to have a great deal of people that work hard. Let's see. Any other public comments? Anyone? Okay. So that ends the public comment. We're now on supervisor comment. the supervisor, make a comment or announcement?
Yeah, I'll start with echoing from before. Thank you to the Smith family for the easement. And then back to the first item, we talked about Melbourne, and made me think about several years ago, and I was off on a number of years. It was 2019 that we started a development map on the website. So I just wanted to, I think we should get back into updating the development map. August 21st, 2019 was the last update, and I think it should have the current information for the different phases these developments are in, and probably an image of the plan. We don't need all the details, but just an image of the plan, so put some rumors to rest if that's what it comes down to, but at least we have an updated status of these developments and what they will look like.
Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Meeting's adjourned, thanks everyone, have a good day.